Hi, it's Becky, and today I want to make with the Lavender Lemonade design kit from Softflex. And I had such a great time um, doing a video where I made a necklace and painted a painting using the same color palette that I want to do that today using some purple and yellows. So again, I'm going to be using the Lavender Lemonade design kit, which is gorgeous. I want to make a bracelet this time using these super cute lemon beads. I love them so much. So I'm going to be making a bracelet with that. And some of these beads, I'm also going to be kind of expanding the, going to be using these square beads here in the corner. I'm using some of those. And I'm also going to make the kind of extend like how many beads I can use in this bracelet by adding some of these beads. These are some seed beads that came in one of the Beads to Live By subscription boxes, and I like those because they're curated collections is what they are. They're just colors that go really well together, but then because I've had a few different purples show up in it, it gives me a nice stash of purples that I can draw from when I go to make something like this. So I'm going to make that addition in there. We're going to be using this purple amethyst cord when we do that. We've got our gold crimp tubes, and probably going to use this lobster claw clasp when we do that. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be using for the bracelet. Our tools will be a and look, it matches. The magical crimper. We've got some wire cutters, and that's pretty much all that we're going to be using for tools when we do that. It'll be a fairly easy bracelet to do, but it's going to be really fun. So we'll get to that in a minute. Gonna start the painting. I'm gonna do it kind of the way I did the other one, where I start the painting, and then while part of it dries, we'll make the bracelet, and then we'll go back and finish the painting. So for this, I'm using, this is a Baohong cold press watercolor sketchbook, and I'm gonna just do it sketch style. So it's not going to be super detailed or anything. It should be real quick and easy. If you want to paint along with me, you can. The colors that I'm going to be using are this set of, these are quarter pans, not half pans or full, but they're M-gram. And I got this off of AliExpress because I was like, oh, hey, these quarter pans, that's more than you'd have in a dot card, and it'll give me an idea of which of these M-gram paints I want so that I can buy some of those. And the problem with this is when it came to me, there was no documentation as to which colors they were or which any of those are. So I looked some of them up online. I filled out some of this by comparing my swatches with some of the things that they have. So I'm pretty sure that this yellow here that I'm going to be using is azo yellow. The one next to it, I believe, is cadmium yellow. And I'm probably just going to be using those. I may, if I feel like it, throw in this yellow down here, which is either nickel azo yellow or quinacridone gold. I haven't figured out which yet. So like, it's been a real adventure trying to figure out which ones of these they are from the M-gram sets. But they're pretty cool colors. And let me just swatch those out for you real quick over here on the side in my sketchbook. So the azo yellow it's not the coolest yellow you've ever seen. It's not the most lemony lemon yellow. It's not a PY3. But it is a nice bright yellow. So I think that's going to be my base yellow color for the lemons. And then for more depth and shade, we're going to use this cadmium yellow, which is a little more on the orange side. So it's going to give us just a little more richness in our color. And then if I need to, and I might just a little bit on the edges, this nickel azo yellow. Let me, there. And that's where that one goes in. And it granulates a lot. So that may be the one that I'm using for more depth because the granulation can mimic the lemon peel skin. And then for my lavender color, I have this color here on my swatch. It is, I'm pretty sure, Mineral Violet, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous color, and I love it. And I'm probably gonna buy a tube of this. And that's, I mean, that's the purpose of like dot cards and little samples like this. It was nice and cheap, but it tells me which of these Mgram colors I want to buy more of. And it's a really, really, really gorgeous purple. Nice and light, and it's not lilac-y. It is more of a lavender color. And so my plan for the painting is to do a couple of lemons, maybe a lemon cut in half so we get some segments. And then I'm going to let all of that dry and I'll come back in and I'm just going to paint the background with this lavender color. And that should help the lemons pop more and it'll be great. I thought about doing like actual like lavender plant paintings, but I couldn't ever get like the leaves and stems to look good. And it was weird angles. And so I'm just gonna paint some lemons. We're just gonna have some fun with this because I want it to be an easy, relaxing painting to not stress about, because that is the whole point of me doing watercolor. Now my brush that I'm using, I've got a, I'm just dropping paint on my paper. Hopefully that doesn't bleed. It's fine if it does. But it's a Creative Mark Mimic round 6. So I'm going to be using that. If I need something with a smaller point, I'm going to come back to my go-to travel brush, this Fumui, that gives me a really good point when it's wet. So I'm going to be using both of these brushes. So yeah, let's get started. If you want to paint along with me, this is the part where you go gather your materials and get ready to go. I've got just this section of my sketchbook taped off, just because I like nice clean edges, and I may just take the background wash all the way to the edges when I do this. And there are two different ways I could do it. I could do the wash first and just leave some white space for the lemons, but since I don't really know where I want to put the lemons yet, because I haven't made that decision, because this is just painting what I feel like, I'm gonna wait until after I paint the lemons, and then I'm gonna go back in and do that. So I'm gonna start with some clean water. Let me move this out of the way so that I've got a little mixing area up here, and I'm gonna just pull this bright lemon out here and then get myself a nice light value on my brush and make myself it's real faint, a little ellipse, because that's what shape lemons are. And they've got like a little nub on the end. And I'm just gonna make my little lemon here. And it's a real light value, so I'm gonna go back in with kind of a darker value and paint. Just drop it in around there. Now, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the Quin. Well, I don't know if it's Quin. It might be, it might not be. Just gonna grab a little bit of this. Just tap the edges of my lemon to give it a little bit of dimension. Like that. And I'm gonna make another lemon. Let me see, where do I want to put this lemon? Another real light value. Maybe this lemon will be over here. It's just all lemons. And one of the great things about lemons is like they can be funky shapes, because I don't know if you've seen a lemon before, but they are not perfect. And neither am I. A little more lemony color. Now, let's grab some of this gold just around the edges. I'm calling it gold, but it's this, I'm pretty sure it's nickel azo yellow. You know? Okay. That one's a little more weird shaped. All right, let's get some more lemon. Just gonna think I want to do a lemon slice. Where's my lemon slice gonna be at? I don't know yet. But let's add a little more color. And I'm leaving like a light spot in most of these. Again, for more depth. All right, I got a couple of lemons now. All right, I want to make a circle. And circles are one of those things I'm not super great at. So I've heard if you hold your hand up and just move from like your shoulder, you're better at circles than if you hold it from the side and try to move from your wrist. So I'm gonna try that. Let's see how this does. All right. So that's my circle. Okay. I can dig it. All right, now for my segments, I'm just gonna take some clean water. I'm gonna draw in these segments just in wedges. Like this. I'm just leaving some white space between the edges, the center, and all that. I'm gonna grab my lighter yellow color and kind of drop it in a couple of places in each of these segments. Where I already have the water. Oh, it's a bit too much color. Let's lift some of that out. Because I want them to be lemony, but I don't want them to be too lemony. Actually, no, let's make them lemony. Let's get some color in there. Because you know what I'm going to do to differentiate this, these central parts from the outer rim, is I'm going to grab some of this deeper yellow. Oh, and this is the part where I'm going to use the my other brush because I get a finer point with it. So let's grab that. I like to roll it on the side so it gets a really good point. I'm just going to go around the outside edge of my circle with this. And you notice that I don't have the steadiest of hands, and that's okay because you know what? The outside skin of a lemon is very bumpy. I don't know if you've seen it before. Yeah. There we go. That should make it a little more lemony. Just lift up some of that color because it is very dark. You know what? When we add the purple in, it's gonna look a little bit better. So I want this to dry before I start adding anything around here for the background. So I'm gonna let this dry. And I think that is gonna do it for my lemon so far. Let me move my painting and this. I'm gonna set it aside. And we can get to our jewelry making. And we can make a bracelet. All right. So I've got some lemons out. I pulled aside 2 of the little lemon beads because I want to make some earrings with them. So those are not going to be part of this little project here. Let me pull my square beads out. And I think that's going to be enough. If it isn't, I can bring this down off of there. We can have our lemon beads and our square beads. And I've got this bead board out. This is the mark for, you know, probably the length that I like for a bracelet. So we're going to be using that. Let me open up some of these beads. I think they're matte and like semi-translucent. Don't know if you guys can see them, but they're pretty nice little beads. And I'm going to be using them as part of this bracelet with these square beads and my lemon beads. So let me pull off some beading wire. Now I'm going to be using 2 strands of this, well, basically 2 strands at the same time. So I'm going to pull about that much. It's about 15 inches. And then I'm going to double it. Because it's going to wind back and forth a couple of times along there. All right, so now I've got my length of beading wire, and it's this beautiful, gorgeous purple color. And basically this bracelet is going to be a lot like my painting, where I've got my purple background to make the lemon pop. All right, so I'm going to take my wire, I'm going to find both of my ends, going to make sure they're even, and I'm going to slide this clasp all the way down into the middle there. And then I'm going to grab my crimp tube. Let me move that out of the way. And I'm going to put both ends of my wire through this crimp tube and slide it all the way down here where I have my clasp. And that's how I'm going to start this bracelet, because I'm going to start with the clasp and then we'll build it up from there. All right, let's get this crimped. All right. If you're not using the magic crimpers again, you're probably going to want to use crimp covers to keep the edges of the crimp from rubbing against your wrist when you're doing this. All right, I'm going to take 3 of these seed beads on each end. 1, 2, 3. On that one, and then 3 on the other. Okay. Bring those down. That's the start of it. I'm gonna grab 1 square bead, on each wire, and then 3 of these seed beads. 1, 2, 3. Come on, beads. Yeah, and again, it's on each wire that I'm going to do this. Now, I don't know that I'm going to do this whole bracelet real time because it's going to be real repetitive after I do this. So I'm going to show you how I start it, and then we'll turn this off and I'm going to finish the bracelet. And when I get back to show you how to finish the bracelet, by then my lemons will definitely be dried. So let me grab my lemon bead because this is the fun part. And these lemon beads have nice big holes. So I can put one of my wires going one direction that way. And then I can also put my second wire through this hole going the opposite way. So you can see them coming out both ends. And then I can pull them down. Right there. And that has the wire cross through my lemon. So I'm just going to repeat that. I'm going to do 3 seed beads, a square bead, 3 seed beads, and then I'm going to pass both ends of my wire through the same lemon bead, going in different directions. So I'm going to just repeat that one more time before I turn this off and move on. So 1, 2, 3. I'm just gonna do one wire at a time for this part because then I can put it down and work on the next one. Ah, come on, seed bead. 1, 2, 3 seed beads, a square bead, and then 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. And that's for one side. And now with the other one, I'm going to do the same thing. Pick up my 3 seed beads. 1, 2. 3. Square bead, and 3 more seed beads. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, that's another reason why I'm going to be turning this off and coming back to it after I've gotten it, is because putting the seed beads on can be a little bit tedious if you're just watching. Okay, so now I've got I've got on each strand my 3 seed beads, my square bead, and my 3 seed beads. And I'm going to put them both through the same lemon bead going in opposite directions. Like that. Pull it tight. I mean, not too tight, but you know, tight enough. There we go. And that's how it's starting to look. It's flipping up a little. It's just the nature of the wire. It's fine, because when it's on your wrist, it's going to lay flat. But I'm going to repeat this with the 3 seed beads, the square bead, and the 3 seed beads, and then putting it through my lemon, going in each direction. I'll repeat this until I have used up all of these seed beads, or it's the length that I want, whichever comes first. So I will meet you back here after I get to that point. Okay, so I'm back a little bit earlier than I thought. If you've noticed, I have not done all of this, and that's because once I got about half of my lemon beads on here, I went ahead and measured it, and these will only get me to about here, and yeah, about here and here for my bracelet. So I'm going to need to fill in this space with probably a focal, which gives me a really great opportunity to pull out this gorgeous boho bead. I'm going to stick this sucker right in the middle of this bracelet, right there. And this is going to look really fantastic. It's going to work really well. And I'm just going to grab these guys because I want them to add a little pop in the strand leading up to my little boho guy. Let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. It's these bicones, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, yeah, let's use all of them. Right. So I am going to grab my 3 seed beads, 2, 3, and a bicone, my square bead, yeah, because I didn't super plan this, which is why I'm making a little change halfway through. It's fine, right? Let's see how this adds some more yellow, more of a citrusy bit to that strand leading up, and it will lengthen it a little bit more. Now I'm going to 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do that on one strand of my 2 strands. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other strand with my 3. Whoop. Where'd you go, buddy? It's trying to escape. 3 seed beads, a bicone, a square bead, bicone, and then 3 seed beads. 1, 2, 3. All right. So now I've got these coming out of here like this. And what I'm going to do for the boho bead is, instead of crisscrossing them, I'm going to put both ends of my wire through at the same time, going in the same direction of this bead. So stay together. These are very hollow on the inside, so it's super easy to lose your wire, but it went all the way through. There we go, like that. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, where I'm going to have my 3 seed beads, my yellow bicone, square bead, yellow bicone, and 3 seed beads. And then I'm going to go through my lemon beads in opposite directions on the other side so that it mirrors itself. And this will give me a bracelet that is long enough to fit on my wrist. All right, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna mirror this other side, and I'll meet you back at the other side so we can finish it off, and I can show you how to make a little loop to attach my, for my closure. But yeah, I like that. I like that. It's lemony and sparkly, and this twirls around, which is fantastic because you can totally use this as a fidget if you need to, which sometimes I need to do. Anyway, I will meet you back here. Okay, so here we are. I have all of my beads on here except for a few at the end, and I just verified both with my measurement here that once I add the end of this, these other beads at the end, and make a little loop, it's definitely going to be long enough to fit around my wrist. And I verified it by also wrapping it around my wrist like this and pulling that. Once I add some more beads and a loop, it's going to be able to close. That's what it's going to look like too. So I'm really excited about this. All right, so to end it, I'm just going to mirror this part here where I have my 3 beads, my cube, my 3 beads, and I'm going to have both ends of this go through a crimp tube in the same direction. And then I'm going to bring one of them back down through it in order to make a loop. And that's going to be actually my closure. You could, instead of making a loop to hook the lobster clasp to, you could use some jump rings, make an extender thing if you wanted. I'm going to just use this wire because it's such durable wire. And it's, you know, in a colorway that goes really well with what I am making. I'm just going to use the wire because I don't mind having exposed wire out there because it's a really great color. And that way I can save jump rings for another thing at another date. And again, it's really durable. It's not gonna wear or break or anything. I have a bunch of other bracelets that I wear all the time, and with this wire I just make a loop for my closures, and it's great. Also, if you have like metal sensitivities and you've got like a lobster clasp that you know doesn't give you any issues, this wire, like, it doesn't wear down very easily. I know some beading wires, like if you wear it enough, it like the coating on it will wear down, and then you've got metal wire rubbing against your skin. But this doesn't, so I'm not saying it never wears out. I'm just saying it's gonna take a lot of work to wear it down. Like, you kind of have to cut into it in order to get that coating off of there. All right, so now I've got my beads there. It's mirrored to this. And so to make my closure, I've got both my strands coming out this way. I'm going to take one strand and put it back through my crimp tube. If it'll go back in there. on, buddy. There we go. All right. So it's coming out here. Let me get a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. So it goes up and then around and it makes a loop. The other end is coming out there. And then I'm going to pull on this one that's coming back down through the loop or down through the crimp tube to shorten out my loop. And I'm just going to, before I crimp it, see if this is a good length for that. And this is like another beauty of this is that I can make sure it's the right length for me. You know, if it's too loose, I can tighten it up. If it's not big enough, I can pull it out. You know, and you can attach like a, what are they called? Like a charm to this or something if you like having a charm to hold on to when you put on your bracelets. All right, so I'm going to crimp this because I think that is a really good size for me. All right, it's nice and round and smooth. I'm going to cut off my excess wire. I'm actually quite happy with this. So now the bracelet is done. I'm going to put this on my wrist and finish my painting. See, this is why you put a charm on the end. There we go. Bracelet is done. It's really lightweight. It's cute. It's got a sparkle. All right, let's move you out of the way. My beads and things. Let's get my sketchbook back out here. All right, so I've got my lemon. They're totally dry. And I am going to open up my paint tin and get some clean water. Get this mineral violet going. I'm gonna just put this over here in this tray. Add a little more water to this. All right, now let's just go ahead and put this down here. I am just fine with this. No! I dropped a little drop right in the middle of my lemon slice. Let me go and grab before it soaks in. All right. All right, that lifted off really well, actually. Gorgeous. All right. So this little tin has actually been a lot of fun to have. I've taken it to, I mean, it makes a really great travel tin. So in spite of me like not really knowing which paints I'm using, I still consider it a good investment. Okay, and I don't need this to be a real even wash. In fact, I'm fine with like splotches and splooges and it looking like watercolor. Fine with blooms. Fine with different shades. What I just want to do is be careful around the edges of my lemons. Yeah, it's just a background. It's just a background. But you see how that brings out that lemon color? It makes it pop. Yeah. It's just a real simple lemony sketch. There we go. In fact, I want it to have like texture on the back. Maybe just a little more next to and around my lemons. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Like this is a nice granulating color. You can see that where it's like kind of separating out. So this just gives it some texture that it didn't have before. And having these different colors might give me a little more depth to it. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, let's add a little more there. Yeah. All right, let's get some. Again, I've been careful around the outside. Got some hard edges over here. Soften that up a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I like the blooms. I like the unexpected things that watercolor does sometimes. Makes it fun. All right. Now, just let this dry and it'll be done. But I can do that off camera. Buddy. Maybe a little more. A little bit more here. Oh yeah, that's moody. Moody lemons. Who would have thought? Look, I still got my bracelet on. This is such a great color to go with this yellow. Good job, me. You picked good colors. Okay. I'm gonna call that good. My paintbrush just rolled off my desk. It's fine though. I can pull the dog hair off of it. All right, so now we've got our Lavender Lemonade lemon painting for World Watercolor Month, and a Lavender Lemonade bracelet using the Softflex design kit. And I hope you had as much fun hanging out with me while I make this as I had painting it and making it. So there we go, wearable art and viewable art. Thanks for hanging. Bye.